It's December 4th, 2014, and this is a day after I made a post, or made some videos about, or 2 days after I made some videos about some of the government rape situations that I went through. And there's much more that I will talk about. But one other thing that I want to clarify and confirm, which is very important and something that I had sort of clarified about the Bob Jrs. And how many times I saw them, the identical ones, together in one place. So maybe it doesn't matter that much, but for some people who think, well, maybe at one time, at one point in my life, I was just somehow mistaken. It really wasn't one time. Sometimes I forget how many times I've seen identical Bobs and Dicksies, because I just don't think about it. It's not something most people deal with, identical people getting swapped back and forth. So, but the other thing that I wanted to mention is that I remembered more about the Dixies, and it's not something that's new that just suddenly came to my mind that I've never remembered before, because I've remembered this in the past before, but I often forget to think of it. And I said that the one time I saw her I saw 3 of them, was at a NASA site. Well, there was another site, and basically it was, so I can confirm that I've seen triplets more than once of the Dixies, identical ones. And the other site was one where a whole situation was unfolding when I was taken there, not drugged completely the way that they usually did drug me. And what they were doing is, I was older. I was not a middle school child. I was definitely older. I was maybe anywhere between the ages of probably 10 to 12. Age 10 to 12, I think. Possibly age 9 to 12. I don't think I was older than that, but this is what I remember. And anyway, sorry about the lighting here in this video, but I've been working on some homework all day in my room, and I didn't feel like making this recording where I usually do out in the other room. So, and the lighting here is a little dimmer, though not as dim as it looks in this video. But anyway, so without going into like the whole other situation that was unfolding around this one time that I distinctly remember seeing them, and I actually do vaguely remember a few other situations, possibly having to do with family around family, although they were extremely discreet. It wasn't like my grandparents were letting me see a bunch of Dixies around them all at once. I mean, we are talking, this was extremely rare for me to actually visually see the identicals all together. And but it is important because the United States can blackmail all of them and hold any one of them hostage at any time and make them say whatever they want them to say. So basically they can get any one of the Dixies to say that I lie, or that maybe I'm mentally ill, and there's nothing they can do about it. And if they don't do what the government says, they could probably be tortured. I'm sure that they are tortured. sometimes. So this other location is one that I'm not completely sure where it was. I think that it was somewhere around Coquille, Oregon, but I'm not completely positive because of some of the people who were there, and I think so, but I'm not sure. The reason I'm not sure is because I was being drugged when I was taken there. But I do remember the cops, and there were cops and some United States government officials that were that were escorting me back and forth, and there was a doctor as well. This one time that I visually saw the identicals together, and it was basically an underground kind of shelter. It was almost like a cellar of some sort, and he went through a field of grass. Like there was some grass, just field grass around, and then there was an opening to like some kind of a cellar that was underground. It was separate from a house or anything. And then inside were 3 Dixies and a couple of other people, and I guess the other people, I wasn't sure who they were, a couple of other women. I figured that they were just women who were there as companions or to keep an eye on them or something. But they weren't part of the identical ones that were there. But there were a couple of other people that were there. And then one of the U.S. officials said, or FBI said, okay, I need so-and-so. She said it like, like she needs a can of, like a canned fruit from or some canned something or other from the pantry. I need so-and-so right now. So she picked out which Dixie she wanted to come out of this cellar. And then the other 2 had to stay in there. And I'm sure they weren't in the cellar all the time, but that's where the 3 of them were at this one time when someone was deciding who she wanted out of there to do something for them, or to be out in the open in the public for them for some reason. And so, and one of the Dixies looked like kind of didn't have any expression on her face. The one that was summoned out of there didn't have really any expression, just kind of walked out like zombie almost. Didn't really say anything or do anything, just walked out like she was ordered to. And then the other one in there started screaming and crying, got upset. And most of the time I was taken there several times. I was taken to that location many times. But the only part that I could remember is from the car to getting out of the car to walking, starting to walk, and then I couldn't remember anything else after that. So at some point between getting out of this sedan with government people and being told to walk, I think I was getting chloroformed or sedated with some massive forget everything drug, because I couldn't remember anything except for the part of being transported there. And I'm not sure exactly why they would have me transported there all the time either, except for the fact that if they were switching Dixies, like trading one in or out for the other, and if, for example, I was with one Dixie and then they had to trade me with another one, they'd probably have me in the car. I do remember, actually, they had a Dixie driving me there, and then the cops would follow it behind us. at some distance. And then she pulled into this location, and I think that I was just going with my mom somewhere. And then all of a sudden these other people came out, and I got out of the car, and then all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I don't remember anything. So I think what they were doing is when they switched the identicals, they wanted to have the public, the general public, see me leaving in a car with Dicksie. And then when I was returning from a certain location or from an area, they wanted to see me returning with a Dicksie, even if they swapped them. So I think that's why they had me go along in the first place. But I really don't know what kind of a drug it was, but it was heavy duty. And because, like I said, I remember things up to a certain point, and then being just totally knocked out. But this one time, for some reason, one of the government persons who typically chloroformed me or gave me an injection or did whatever they didn't do what they usually do. Like, they either mistakenly didn't give me enough for some reason, or or one of them decided not to and wanted me to see this for a different reason. Possibly for more blackmail, because, like I said, there's a whole other situation that went around it that I can describe later. But anyway, so this, as I said, this one time I definitely was not sedated the entire time, and I think I was told to pretend, possibly. I'm not quite sure if I was told to pretend sometimes when people didn't drug me a couple times. And I'm not sure if that's what happened this one time, or if I didn't get drugged that much and I just pretended anyway because I was afraid they were going to drug me more and I wanted to know what was going on. Not sure. But I was led out of that whole area, and I saw where these Dixies were. So it was another time, and I remember there being 3. However, one of them could have just looked a lot like a Dicksie. Because this one time that I saw them, when I saw them at a NASA site, was definitely triplets. I mean, without any doubt, because I was so shocked by it, I fainted. And this other time, it looked like 3 Dixies to me, and then a couple of women who looked similar to Dicksie. But because I was in such shock, is it possible there were 2 identical Dixies, and maybe the third one was just another blonde woman that looked a lot like a Dicksie, and I somehow was just so shocked by the other ones and remembering that I've seen 3 in the past that I thought there were 3. I'm going to say that I'm kind of 90% sure that there were 3 identical Dixies there in that place, but I can't say 100% sure because of the stress of the situation. However, even with the stress of the situation, I'm absolutely positive, without any doubt whatsoever, that I did see what I saw. And I saw this one Dicksie, who was one of the identicals, up close because she was coming out of that cellar, and it was definitely a Dicksie. And I saw the other one who was still in the cellar, who had a big reaction. And so because she had this reaction, I noticed her and I looked at her more, and it was definitely a Dicksie, definitely an identical. And then I think I was so focused, why I'm like not 100% is because I was so focused on those 2 that I'm very sure that there were 3, but kind of uncertain about the other people that were there too. So